Okay, so how's everybody doing? So I want to talk about this particular scene here. This is technically, this is really section 3. Down there you can see the end. That's for expansion, section 4. Now, the one thing I find with terrain, like this is just a big chunks of foam, but glued onto a flat shelf, plywood shelf. And I've just been carving it down, getting it down to the slope that I want before I actually skin it with, just by hand with fast mash, as I've done in some areas here. Hopefully it's not too whited out. The problem with showing this particular stage is it's really hard to get the camera right, the white balance and everything, but hopefully it looks okay. So here's some of my inspiration for this area. There's this area, this is not far from the track, so this is a little ways up, but this is the barn. I just want to mention this quick, like the barn, like this is going to be, like this build is awesome. It's probably one of the better scratch built buildings, I would say, next to, wow, there's the diner, the station, and some of the other ones, but this barn I had a lot of fun with, because barns are kind of like, it really doesn't matter how rough you model it. Like, that's the way barns are. Actually, throw the ruler away. Like, get a rough idea of your doorway and window openings. Well, no, actually not window openings, because they're all different sizes. But the old saying is just put the ruler aside and just start cutting pieces and gluing them on and make it rough. And the barn is turned out so awesome. It's actually my favorite model right now. But I'm going to have a really cool mini series on that, covering the whole build condensed, and it's going to go right here, and it's based on this prototype barn, like the Marieville barn, which is not really close to the tracks like I'm modeling it here, but it doesn't matter because there's barns all over, like trackside barns everywhere, and this barn is a really good representation of the barns out here that you see everywhere. Okay, and what's unique about it is you'll see like a cell tower, like 100 yards away, and a grain elevator or an overpass with cows and everything, like right behind Walmart. It's like, that's Langley, right? Anyway, so this scene I've been waiting for a long time. I want to share some of it with you. But the one thing that's really important to me, or I think to any scene, is to get the slope right. Like, I want to zoom in a bit closer and show you, like, this was just a flat plate up here, but I've only taken it down about ½ an inch or so, but it really makes a difference. I'll show you some pictures, like, from eye level, because this slope, like, I want to have an indication of either alfalfa or corn. I'm not really sure. I haven't been able to really find any corn that's convincing enough, and it's really difficult to model unless they're molded. I know that Walthers puts out some. I might consider Walthers in here because I think their corn stalks actually look pretty good. But anyway, this is going to be a really neat scene and a really nice backdrop for the grain elevator, like the Milner grain elevator that's going to go down here as well. So I've been looking forward to this for a year, thinking about it while I was working on section 2. And I'll just mention this briefly before I close in a bit and talk just in closing on this. Ipex Plastics, that's another project too, and I'm thinking about it. You know how it is, you work on things, you think about, you can't do everything at once. It'd be nice if we were like an octopus, if you had like 8 arms and hands, you could just, man, the stuff you could achieve would be remarkable. But anyway, Ipex Plastics is a separate build altogether. I'm looking at it, I have the wood frame now, but you can only do so much at a time, and this is where my passion is right now, and I'm really stoked for this particular part of the layout. Okay. Okay, so how's everybody doing? So I just wanted to show here quickly for those of you that might find it interesting on how I decided to split this substrate modular foam terrain, because I'll show you now, because I put parchment paper between this section so it wouldn't stick when I applied the fast mash. So you can see, I think I mentioned yellow tape, but I mean blue tape. Where this blue tape is the seam of the benchwork. And I put this tape over here. There is parchment paper sandwiched between the benchwork. Like when I built it, pulled it apart, bolted it back together, there's 3 big bolts in here that sucks this whole seam. It's beefed up with 3/4 inch plywood on each butt end, with holes drilled through with big bolts with nuts and washers. I just tightened them up, sucked it in tight between parchment paper, so when glue migrates in, or paint or whatever, it won't stick when I pull it apart, or if I ever have to. And then I put this tape over here just to add an extra seal so nothing leaches or capillaries down in between the seam. And now, just in closing on this part, you can see that I can pull this off. And I can probably pull this off too. That's all done now. So now, like, this will get painted, scenic. This here, which I would never have been able to reach back there without breaking my back. And now I can just take this down to the bench, right? And then carve in some rock face on here. I'm going to put in probably a prefab retaining wall here, probably from Knock or Howler or something. Just work it in, because I don't want to, there's no point in me spending a lot of time scratch building a formed wall here, whatever, when you can probably buy the texture plastic or foam or whatever, because you'll only see it, you know, on an oblique angle anyway. You can see how this will, like, once this is scenic, like, to really camouflage the seam, you just do it with like foliage and trees and bushes and stuff. You'll never be able to see it. That's what I love about lightweight foam and fast mash. It's got a hard shell now and it's super light. I could probably put some trees, a couple back in there on that plateau as well, okay? Probably have some trees back in there at some point. You know, we'll see how it goes though. Okay, so let's have a look at this technique that I use for riverbanks and undercuts, plowed roads, you know, where turf hangs over, where it's just been cut out or bulldozed or blasted, whatever, trackside, roadside. It just has a nice look to it. It adds that extra dimension to it. Excuse me. People have asked how I've done this quite a few times, like back when I worked on section 1 when I did the riverbank. So you can see the foam here. And this is fast mash. You can see the fast mash I did yesterday. I put a fan on this like last night. Like this was all wet. It's only about a 1/16 of an inch or an 1/8 in some places. Sometimes it's a 1/4 inch thick depending, but it takes a while to dry. But I find that heat is not important. Moving air is. So if you put a fan over this, like it'll be pure white like a canvas, and like it's just awesome. You can recut it with a knife and everything. Okay, so now I have this slope all tapered the way I'd like. I just want to skim coat this, okay? So I'm going to take some of this fast mash, and you'll find that you'll mix it a certain way, like according to your liking. So I'm just going to actually just spread a thin layer like on top, and where you see the white here, that's just golden. Oh, here, I'll reach over, excuse me for a second, show you that. That's this golden acrylic paint, which is, man, this stuff goes miles. Like just one stroke and it's covered. You know, none of this 4 coats to cover it up. And I put a fan on that too, and it dries it a lot faster. So that's just because if I want to use some of this for rock face, I can actually carve in the rock and paint sections if I want. But I don't know how much it's going to show here, but we'll see how this works out. So basically, just like this is just a palette knife from an art store. For those of you that don't know, this is a wider one. Like there's probably 500 of these versions. You know, you can probably get them at arts and crafts stores. I get mine at Opus Arts locally here. So yeah, you just want to just play around with this. It's sort of like textured cake icing, or you know, carrot cake, almond icing. It's kind of what it's like. And I'm just going to smooth some of this out. Excuse me. And then I'll show you, like you can already see it's already starting to droop over the edges on its own. So I find that as you work it, it starts to do that on its own. And it starts to look like that, you know, the turf overhang on, you know, eroding roadside or trackside slopes. It's actually quite therapeutic. I really like doing this, actually. It's this is the way, I'll just give Grant Eastman a shout out on his Southern Alberta Rail. He's always tearing out sections. I admire that guy. He doesn't like something, he just tears it out and rebuilds it. But this is what he does. He uses cell clay or Sculpting mold, I'm not really sure, or fast mash. All three of those are pretty much the same. They just have little variations of texture and feel to them, but they're all commercial paper mache, and really strong and lightweight, like this type of scenery. That's why I don't use plaster. I don't think I've ever used, well, I did early on when I was a kid. I just found it to be too heavy. Even a shelf layout, the thing weighed a ton, you know, big plaster molds all over it. But anyway, now, you take this, like once it settles in, you can work it more. And what you do is you just press down on top of the edge like this. You can see how it sort of cascades over the top of the edge. And then you can wait on it for a while and manipulate it with a brush. I really like taking one of these brushes. I mentioned this before. This is called a number 12 Opus Stencil Bristle. And watch this. Like, I find the less you think about it and the faster you do it, the more textured and varied and random it looks. And that's all I do. And there's a really good texture for gluing additional objects, terrain, substrates, etc. And you can manipulate it just like I did these roads, which I just used a, excuse me, I just used a wooden dowel. Actually, just after I stippled it like this, I just grabbed a wooden dowel and dragged it a couple of times. And if you want to soften it, just mist it with a bit of water. And yeah, that's it. Like fast mash over foam terrain. Okay? Just like this. This is one of my, I've made a bunch of these, remember? This is the same as this, a foam with fast mash. And it's awesome. Okay, cheers. Happy modeling, and I hope that you have a great day.